Here's one of the questions from PowerPoint. Simple random sample of 1,100 males, aged 12 to 17 in the U.S., asked whether they played massive multiplayer online role-playing games. 775 said they did. We want to use this information to construct a 95% confidence interval to estimate the proportion of all U.S. males 12 to 17 who play massive multiplayer online role-playing games. P, parameter and population. Parameter, proportion of all that stuff. I'm not going to write it, but if I was being graded, I would. A, assumptions. Simple, random, sample. It's better than just random, simple random sample. Every group of, in this case 1,100, has the same chance of being picked. If it just says random, that's fine too, but SRS stated. We'll do normal next. In this case, we're going to have to figure out p-hat eventually, but for the assumptions part, I would just use successes and failures. Successes, 775 said yes. Failures, that's everyone else. So 325, I think. Sampling, distribution, approximately normal. Random, normal, independent. It doesn't say independent in there, so we're just going to assume right here. Independence. Assume, well, we know that there are more than 11,000 12 to 17-year-old males. And let's assume that the propensity for one to play massive multiplayer online role-playing games does not affect another. N, name of the interval. It says it in the problem. We're going to say it again. 95% confidence interval for proportions. As we get further, we'll say things like 1 sample, 2 sample, but this is good enough. On your calculator, I'll show you in a second. Sometimes you can use the calculator language. So the I step will write down the formula, but we'll calculate it on the calculator. So interval calculated. Our p-hat, 775 over 1,100. Label that somewhere. So formula would go 775 over 1,100. 1,100 plus minus Z star. Well, it's a 95% confidence interval. It's proportion, so it's 1.96 times big square root 775 over 1,100 times 325 over 1,100 divided by 1,100. Calculator. Menu. Stats. Confidence intervals. So, there's all these choices. Z interval, T interval, 2 sample, 1 prop, 2 prop, and then some ones that we don't use. So, the first 4 are for means. The ones that are for proportions say prop. And since we only have 1 sample, we're doing 1 prop. Z interval. Number 5. And then it asks you everything. Successes? Well, 775. N, 1100. Confidence level is defaulted to 95 because that's what we use most often. And OK. Enter. So there you go. So title, this is what I was saying earlier. For the I part, or sorry, the N part, name of interval, you could just call it 1 prop Z interval. Gives you the p-hat in case you wanted to calculate it. Gives you the margin of error in case you're asked for that. But really all you care about is the lower and upper limits of the confidence interval. So we'll go from 0.677 to 0.731. Interval, write it in parentheses, don't put a dash in between, and then calculate. Don't you bark at me. Stop it. The C is what? I'm almost done. There's the Iceland bar. The C is conclusion in context. I am 95% confident that this interval, shut up, from 0.677 0.731 contains the true, in this case, proportion, and then you finish, of U.S. males aged 12 to 17 who play massive multiplayer online role-playing games. Done. Hope you enjoy.